I want to say peace and blessings to everyone that's going to tune into this video here. Just wanted to make a quick video real quick. I'm sitting in my car, as you can see. Want to give my condolences to the family of Kobe Bryant and the other victims of this helicopter accident. There were 9 people that died in this tragic event. Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others that have died. So I want to send my condolences, but I also want to take this time out to those that are being very insensitive to the situation, to the circumstances. Remember, Kobe Bryant was a husband, he was a father, he was a brother, he was an uncle. His daughter that died in this tragic event, she was his daughter, she was a big sister, she was a representation of the legacy, his legacy, as well as others that was inside this helicopter that died. They represent families, they represent husbands, wives, sisters, brothers, uncles, aunts, cousins, friends. Let's be more sensitive to what transpired. Let's stop making everything into a conspiracy theory. Let's stop making it into an Illuminati, ritual death. Let's stop trying to make everything into this type of situation. It reminds me of the insensitive thing that occurred, I remember, almost 20 years ago on a show called Starring Buck Wild. How the anchor, I can't remember his name, he was very insensitive about the death of Aaliyah, because Aaliyah died in a plane accident. Her plane crashed. And he was very insensitive. For the sake of laughs, he did a skit of how everyone in that plane, their last words, the things that they said before the crash. And he played a skit of an actual or a parody or whatever of someone or a group of people panicking as their plane is getting ready to crash, and thought that that was humorous. Miss Jones, the singer, she demanded that he be fired. She didn't take or find the humor in all of that. I didn't find the humor in all of that. That's why I stopped listening to the channel, stopped listening to him. But I'm using it as an example of how insensitive we can become, especially through the tool of social media. Now, he had his radio show, but now so many are pushing their platforms and profiles, and now they're allowing social media to become their platform of how they distribute information. Many people are driven by likes, driven by subscribers, but not driven by the spirit of the Most High. Kobe Bryant made peace with his situation that he had, because many are bringing up the rape case. Well, maybe this is his judgment that occurred because of what happened in this rape situation. Kobe Bryant made peace with that person. They settled out of court. They settled their situation out of court. They settled. So that situation was forgiven. Not only was that situation forgiven, but his situation with his infidelity, by being in that situation, he settled that with his wife. See, it's similar to Michael Jackson. See, many people automatically make the assumption that because Michael Jackson settled a number of cases of the accusations of him being doing inappropriate things with children, that because he settled, that he's guilty. Michael Jackson settled, but it's a fact that not a single thing that the federal government was able to find to substantiate any claim. 10 years of investigation by the federal government, not a single arrest, including the victims contradicting themselves, but yet Michael Jackson still have to what? Be subjected to all kinds of scrutinies. Can't even defend himself. What many at that magnitude, the height of that, their influence, you know, in terms of the monies that they're making, like Michael Jackson, Kobe Bryant, many of them settle cases because they see that this can hurt their brand. So Kobe Bryant settled his case. Michael Jackson settled his case because they had far more to lose, even if they won the case. But just the bad publicity can damage their product. But nevertheless, who are we to say what he made peace with and what he did not make peace with? Time and chance happens to all of us. Some of us are going to get sick with cancer. Some of us are going to get sick with, experience other sicknesses. But does that mean that you're in sin because you have these things? Some of you are going to lose your vision. Some of you are going to lose your hearing. Some of you guys are going to have pains in areas of your body that you never thought. But does that mean that you're in sin? Does that mean you did something wrong? Some of you or some of our relatives or some of us have already lost relatives in car accidents. Does that mean that they did something wrong to be in that car accident? Time and chance happens to each and every one of us. Not everyone that's in leadership, that are rich, that die, are part of some type of Illuminati. Truth be told, I can guarantee you 99% of the people that are pushing this Illuminati nonsense have no clue about the Illuminati. I can guarantee you that those that are pushing this ritual death of Kobe Bryant supposedly have no clue about ritual deaths, ritual sacrifices, have no clue about this. I am tired of the next day prophets. Let's stop this foolishness. Let's give our respects. And better yet, let's use the wisdom like my grandmother and many of the old school would say. If you don't have anything good to say, then keep your mouth shut. Leave his family alone. Let them go through this time of mourning. Let them go through this time of mourning. Let them go through this time of mourning. And stop instigating. Stop next day, after the fact prophets. And I'm going to close out with this final thought. All right? Old joke. All right? But it makes a lot of sense. I remember a comedian used this in his stand-up about a situation that he had to go through. Right? He said he was driving through, I believe he said Alabama, he and his friends. And he got pulled over by the cops. Right? And the cop walked up to the car, and the cop just told him, tap the glass and asked him to roll down the window. He rolled down the window, and the officer just slapped him. Right? And he just looked at the officer, stunned. And he said, the officer said, "What's your name?" And before he answered, he slapped him again. Right? And then the officer said, "Hey, you were going pretty fast here." Before he could respond, he slapped him again. He said, "Hey, give me your license and registration." And the man reached over, got his information, handed it to the officer. And the officer looked at him and said, "Wait a minute, hold up 1 second." So the man jumped. He thought that the officer was going to slap him again in anticipation. He said, "I'll be right back." He walked away. Cop went and ran his information, came back, handed the guy his driver's license and registration and told him to slow it down. He said, "I'm not going to give you a ticket this time, but slow it down." So as the man got ready to roll up his window and pull off, the officer taps on his glass and said, "Hold up, stop, don't move." And the guy tensed up because he thought the officer was getting ready to slap him again. But what the officer did, instead of slapping him, he walked around over to the passenger side of the car. And he tapped on the glass. And so his The guy's friend sitting in the passenger seat rolls down the window, and he looks at the officer, and the officer just slapped him. Bow. And the guy looked at him, and the officer said, "I'm slapping you because I want to make sure that you don't get down the road and you look over to your friend and said, I wish he would have did that to me." Peace.